Hi, welcome along to Barbecue Life UK, the only YouTube channel dedicated to the ALDI KAMADO. Today we're pitting the ALDI KAMADO against the WEBER MasterTouch. We're going to cover an array of different things, but the most important thing we're going to be talking about is we're going to do a charcoal comparison to see how efficient each one is against the other. Stay tuned and don't miss out. So we're going to start and end the video on exactly the same subject, which is efficiency. So before I set up my camera for here, I've lit both barbecues. I've put the same amount of charcoal into each one. So I measured out 498 grams worth of charcoal. I split that between the two, so 249 grams in each one. I've tried to make sure the pieces are the same sort of size, a mixture of new and old, so I can keep this as fair as possible. So I've put one lot in charcoal baskets inside the WEBER MasterTouch with two Woodies underneath to light, and then 249 grams in the ALDI KAMADO with two Woodies underneath to light. I've lit them both, and then I'm taking them both up to 120 degrees C, where they are going to sit for half an hour, at which point I'm then going to shut both the vents off, let the temperatures drop back down, so it'll be in a few hours time when I come back, and I'll re-weigh each one to see how much charcoal has been used for each cook. Now, in order to keep this as fair as possible, the WEBER MasterTouch comes up to temperature a lot quicker because it's the ceramic's not got to absorb the heat. So that hit 120 degrees long before what the ALDI KAMADO has. So I've started the timer on that before I've started the timer on the ALDI KAMADO, because if you're cooking for 120 degrees, 110 degrees, whatever, low and slow, it's going to take longer to come up to temperature in the KAMADO than it is in the WEBER MasterTouch. So from lighting until end point, the charcoal will have been burning slightly longer in the KAMADO than it will in the MasterTouch. But by the time it gets up to temperatures, I understand what I'm saying. So that's what we're doing to begin with, and then we are going to come back to that at the end of the video in order to see which one is more efficient. So the next point to cover is portability. So both barbecues come with wheels. The WEBER MasterTouch got two wheels at the back and then like a stand leg at the front, and the ALDI KAMADO comes with four casters on its bottom frame. So they are both movable, but to different extents. So we'll start off with the WEBER MasterTouch. So the WEBER MasterTouch's got two wheels and then the leg that holds everything in place. So you can wheel it about. It doesn't weigh a lot. You can pick it up. You could hold it above your head if you wanted to. It's easy for getting into the back of the car if you want to take it anywhere. If you're going to the beach, you're going to a friend's house, obviously when lockdown's finished, then it is easy to be able to do that. It's easy to pick up and store in your shed and get out and not have to leave in situ, compared to the ALDI KAMADO, which weighs a lot. So it is still portable. It's got the wheels on the bottom and you can roll it around. It's incredibly top heavy, so if you hit a bump while you're moving it around, then it may want to topple, so you need to be very careful. But it's not the sort of piece of kit that you want to be rolling in and out. It's the sort of thing that comes with a cover. It sits in the corner of your garden out the way. You wheel it onto your patio and you do your cooking, unless you're like me, where mine just sits where it sits inside the shack. So portability, the point has got to go to the WEBER MasterTouch. It's much more versatile in its portability range compared to the ALDI KAMADO. So our next point is versatility. So we can start almost back at the beginning, back with charcoal with versatility. So again, we'll start with the WEBER MasterTouch. So the WEBER MasterTouch, just being a metal body, you're able to use things like a chimney starter to light your charcoal, pour it in, and it's up and ready in sort of 20 minutes. Once that charcoal's in there, it doesn't take very long to stabilise, because it doesn't take long for the metal to become the same temperature as your cooking zone. Compared to the ALDI KAMADO, you need to start things off slower. So you put your Woodies or your natural firelighters in the bottom and you let it come up to temperature slowly, and that heat is being absorbed by the ceramic. What you don't want to do is put too much heat in there too quickly, because then you stand a chance of cracking that ceramic. So versatility wise, when it comes to lighting, the Master Touch takes it over the ALDI Kamado. But if you don't mind waiting that bit of time for the ALDI Kamado, then versatility wise, when it comes to cooking and the amount of different things that you can cook, things swing the other way. So where heat, the kettle is quite quick at absorbing that heat and it doesn't take very long, it also can be quite temperamental in being able to hold its heat as efficiently. So on a colder day, you're going to be out with your vents wider open compared to the ALDI Kamado that they tend to sit. Doesn't matter what is going on, they sit pretty rock steady. So also with temperatures, a kettle is cracking at low and slow, just like a Kamado, but high temperatures, the highest I've managed to get mine is sort of 300, maybe close to 350 C if I'm using the vortex in there. But a Kamado, you can take that to 450, 500. So cooking pizzas are much more efficient and a better experience on the Kamado rather than the Master Touch. As I say, because it's not as thick, it doesn't retain its heat as well. It doesn't hold its heat as well compared to what a Kamado does. Low and slow, they're pretty much the same. The newer models from what I've got a standard GBS Grate Master Touch. But the newer models, they've got like a little cutout in the air vents in the bottom so that you can keep them, the airflow very, very small in the bottom. My worry with that, not that I've heard anything, is the ash fallout coming out of your, off of your charcoal and into the bottom is not going to take very much in order to fill them gaps up. But so that's just in my head, that's not something that I've necessarily heard. With the Kamado, low and slow, you've got different ways that you can set that up. So there's a grate on there that stops ash from being able to come out, but it's also great for being able to set for a low and slow cook. So it's got like little holes in it, and you can line that up so you've got a minimal amount of airflow in there. And versatility wise, you can put one lot of charcoal in there, fill that charcoal basket up with charcoal, set it up for low and slow, minimal amount of airflow, and get 12 to 18 hours worth of cooking out of that one lot of charcoal. If you was to do that on a Weber Master Touch, there's not enough space in there and it's not efficient enough to be able to do that without coming back and adding more charcoal. So if you're doing an ultra long cook, the Kamado takes it. If your low and slow is only sort of 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, towards the end of that you'll probably be back filling up with a bit more charcoal, but it's pretty even otherwise. So if you're looking to be able to cook an array of different things from low and slow right up to super hot smash burgers, pizzas and things like that, then it's the Kamado. But it takes a bit longer to get there temperature wise. So the next subject kind of falls in with versatility, but I wanted to talk about it in its own entity. So that's moisture retention. So a Kamado is a much more moist environment. You don't need to add things like water bowls and things like that because the ceramic keeps things more moist. If you're doing a low and slow in a Weber kettle, then the suggestion is that you put things like water pans in there to keep it more of a moist environment. So if you're cooking your Christmas turkey, you get a better turkey, in my opinion, out of a Kamado than you do out of a Weber Master Touch. I'm not telling you not to cook your turkey on a Weber Master Touch. You get a water bowl in there and you look after it and you monitor your temperatures and cook your bird to temperature and not to time. You're still going to get a cracking bird out of there, but I think you get a bit more moisture out of a Kamado than you do out of a Weber kettle, even with a water bowl in the bottom. So the barbecues have had the time to use the charcoal. I ran them both for around half an hour in the end, sitting at 120 degrees C. So I've weighed them both, and the Weber Master Touch has come in at 124 grams, which has used 51% of its original charcoal over that period of time. And the ALDI KAMADO weighed in at 170 grams, and that has used 38% of its charcoal. So you can see the difference here. I mean, yes, I didn't use great big pieces of charcoal because it's a waste. I'm not cooking anything, and I didn't want to do it. I wanted to keep it as cost efficient as possible. But you can see the differences in the two. And technically, the ALDI KAMADO burnt that charcoal for longer than what the WEBER MasterTouch did, because it takes that time for the heat to be able to be soaked into the ceramics to get everything up for the retention of heat within there. So it used less and it ran for around 15 minutes more. It took 15 minutes to get up to that 120 degrees, 15 minutes longer than what the WEBER MasterTouch did. So I hope this has been interesting for you. Hope you like the facts and statistics between the two, and it may sway you to buy the ALDI KAMADO, which is out this weekend. So if you like what we're doing here at Barbecue Life UK, then please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video and leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Don't forget, we're the only place dedicated to the ALDI KAMADO, so make sure that you do subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out my other AK cooks over here and subscribe over here. Cheers.